from my research, he really influenced from Japanese traditional culture, and he's the most greatest modern architecture in our history. And he tried to break from a typical industrial American like a building style, and he really inspired from a Japanese culture, and especially like a relationship from no, Japanese beauty and technology, and especially like relationships between the paintings and space. And Japanese painting was worldwide around the mid 19th century, and this is the most famous Japanese woodblock painting by Hokusai. Uh, this is the kind of capture the Japanese story during the year, like a seasonal, with the people's life and nature. And this is the after that the World Expo in Chicago, 1893. This the Japanese like a traditional building start to worldwide at this event, and this was the first physical contact with the Frank Lloyd Wright and Japanese traditional building and a space. And he traveled several times through the visit the main historical place in Japan to get the sense of the Japanese life and design. And those are some elements that he collect from his journey. These are kind of I collect his book or article, and this is the wood painting he used as his inspiration, and which called the ukiyo-e. This is like a tells the Japanese story and or the moment, and he used this composition as his like a geometric pattern, and he used it into his design. And these are the examples. He like his view become like a create his own pattern that he established his organic style, I think. And after that, he goes into the three-dimensional, and he really inspired in spatial way. And this is the roof. This is like a Japanese typical like a huge roof hovering, but it's like a double roof, and he uses the language into his latest later design. And in the plan view, I compare to the building, and he tried to be organic, which means I think the flexible way. And for example, Japanese has this like a consist just rectangular boxes, but these walls can open and close to make it depend on their use or population. And he took the way to create the flexibility space to like shifting disangle or destroy the justice just the boxes. And he really admired the sense or relationship between the building and nature. And the left one is these are just the stone, and the columns are just onto the stone. So this seamless relationship is kind of similar that he did in this project. And this is the interior view and his geometric pattern inspired from Japan,
So, in your paper, you mentioned organic meaning he's inspired by nature.
He tried to merge
Mm-hmm.
with artificial things and nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So I think like in your paper you could express that a little bit more clearly since it does get a little bit confusing because you keep referring to organic forms. Especially when you're making the comparison to Art Nouveau. Because I in my mind I was like, oh, that makes sense because Art Nouveau uses like flower patterns and things like that. But I think you should make that really clear. I think you're overusing the term organic a little bit because it has a different meaning in the mind of the reader, maybe. And the other thing is, I really loved to see the comparisons in your slideshow of his buildings and his and the inspiration. And I think you did that a little bit in your paper, but I think you could even give more examples to illustrate all of your points in your paper, like more images, because I think it was very helpful. Um, and yeah, so any questions that you guys have for talk about the connection between Japanese art and architecture and Frank Lloyd Wright's buildings? That's it. Thank you.